Hi everybody, Raging back with another Mechabellum video. Before we get into today's game, I have an announcement to make real quick. I have officially become a top 100 Mechabellum player. I currently sit at rank 94 in the world. I don't talk about it much on the channel, but this has been a personal goal of mine for quite a while now. I've been playing Mechabellum since like November of 2023, and I noticed sometime last June or July, when I hit like 16 or 1700, that I was kind of decent at this game, and I, wanted to take it a little bit more seriously. So I started making these videos last August as I was climbing, and now I've been making these videos for like 5 or 6 months. It's been really fun to share this experience with all of you. I love knowing that my videos might actually be helping people out there. And I know that they must be, because a lot of you comment and say that they do. This community's up to like 700 subscribers, and I never thought that I'd, even crack like 100, let alone 700. But who am I? Nobody. There's some guy on the internet who plays Mechabellum. And I'm really excited that I finally hit top 100 in the world in this game that I love and hate in so many ways. But, mostly love, right? So thank you. Now let's watch today's game. I'm going to be reviewing the game that put me in the top 100 here. And it's actually against a player that I featured in a video last week, Crash. And if any of you watched that, I just played a bunch of fortresses against him. So the giant specialist is showing here. And so I decided to go with that again, just because I know he's not that great against playing against fortress, which I really enjoy playing. So we have that option available to us in this game. And starting out here, like I said, we are the Giant Specialist, and we've gone with the Sabertooth and the Fang pack, one of the stronger aggro openings right now. I have sort of started to figure out that Steel Balls are pretty strong against this. I don't think it's as overpowered as people think it is. There are definitely a lot of weaknesses to it, and I'm going with a bit of a recommended formation here, just to get it going. You always pair the Arc Lights with them. It just seems to be like the best unit to stick with them. So you have the Chaff Clear, and you have the high DPS of the Sabertooth. Crash here is a Fire Badger specialist. He's gone with the Sledgehammers, and he's picked up some Marksmen for this turn, and he has Crawlers as well. So decided to put a Fang over here on the left to defend against any straggling Crawlers. But this first round doesn't go so hot, because what ends up happening here is my Arc Lights get stuck shooting these tanks, and they can't clear the Crawlers over here on the left. So that is how this one goes. We get pretty smoked. You can see a lot of people have been saying that the Sabertooth openers are like too hard to play against, but if you position it right and you use Marksmen and Crawlers effectively, you can definitely beat it in round one. So round two here, we have a couple good options. There's the early Electro Mag, which you could bring with you through the game, but the intensive training looks pretty good to me. I kind of like just to have it here, so I can power level like maybe a good unit drop or something. On this turn, Crash has his free Fire Badger, and he decides to buy another one here to cook our Fangs to get to our major units quicker. Decent play. He did set up sort of in a defensive way, but now he's decided to move up to the line here and just have his snipers at the end take down our Arc Lights and Sabertooths. Kind of like that play. He's also gone with a cheeky little Crawler here to destroy our Fangs and Tower. He also puts a late Crawler up here in case of flanks. I decide to grab a Crawler, unlock Crawler, and make one. And I don't have a good target for intensive training this turn yet, so I'm going to end up saving it here until the next round. I go with a flanking Crawler, so he just put these Crawlers here to defend against that, so it's a good play by him. And then I have just this shallow flank Arc Light. I really like to put Arc Lights right here. Sometimes I protect him with Chaff, but sometimes they're like good enough where you don't need the Chaff. They'll take out this Crawler at the end. And then I go with a third Crawler here, which ends up being pretty good. It does sort of fix my formation. We still get killed really, quickly by this Crawler over here, but you can see that it is better than last time, where our Arc Lights are not stuck shooting Sledgehammers. Now they're shooting Chaff. And that was actually only made possible because of the positioning of his Fire Badgers, that it delayed the Arc Lights from walking forward and shooting his Sledgehammer. So It's kind of like the way he set up the Fire Badgers has actually started to help me slightly, even though we get totally destroyed this round. But I did notice that my arc lights now, with the timing of things, are shooting at the right times and the right units, the crawlers. So round 3, we have this Typhoon drop on round 3 is nuts. I feel like this is like the strongest round 3, maybe of any of the unit drops in the game. The level 2 Typhoon here is totally crazy. So Crash picks it up because it's really, really good, and so do I. So he's decided to put another Fire Badger here and just range them immediately and go after my Arc Light here, so he doesn't want any flank stuff over here. I go over to the left here, and so does he. He puts his Typhoon here, and we put our Typhoon here, but we do have intensive training. That's why I saved it, just in case of unit drops, and that's a pretty good one to put it on. So now we have a level 3 guy here, and he has the level 2 guy here, so in theory, we should win that matchup. He does have Marksman and the tanks, but level 3s still should just beat level 2. I also like to stick a Crawler with them, just in case, you know, he does exactly what he did here. And I go with some Fangs, and I think I put it back here, which is good because he's flanking us now with some Crawlers, so we'll be able to clear that. And I Missile also, just in case. And because I have high-level Typhoons, I'm going to take Attack Enhancement. Right there. That's my turn there. And we should be able to get this Typhoon dead. And hopefully the front here is a little bit better. We do have a Missile in case of any extra Crawlers, and these Fangs also will be good at the end, after we clear the Crawlers. So one of our Typhoons here is going to get killed by the Marksman, but we've already killed one of his level 2 Typhoons, and we still have our level 3 guy. So we should be able to get the level 2 one dead, and I think this guy's going to be a little bit too tanky, even for these couple guys here. And our front actually has done decently well over here. So well, in fact, that the late Fangs that I added this round will also help us over here. So we will take the round with a single Typhoon and some Fangs. And now I remember playing this guy, and I remember he doesn't do so hot against Fortress. On round 4 here, we get the Assault Fortress card. One of my favorite cards, being an aggro player, makes my fortresses not only do more damage, have more health, but also just move faster. And I don't play range on Fortress or anything. I play aggro fort, so I don't care about 10-meter loss in range. Don't use forts that way anyway, personally. I am more of a Rocket Punch kind of guy. Love Rocket Punch on Fortress. On this turn, my opponent Crash decided to go with Double Shot Marksman, which is pretty good against Typhoons and Sabertooths, and honestly, like most things on my board here. He has lots of chaff clear with the Badgers. The only thing that I see so far, though, with my opponent is that he's put his Badgers here on the line. These are very exploitable. It's good against Sabertooth because Sabertooth has a 3.6 attack speed, but Fortress has a much faster attack speed, so maybe I'm going to be replacing these guys with some Fortresses, is what I'm thinking now that I have Assault Fortress. On last round, what I realized was I need a little bit more chaff clear. I also really need to deal with this, so these Crawlers will beat my Fangs now, and I do not want that to happen here. I do decide on this turn to level my Sabertooths. I also stick a Arclight here to take out these Crawlers that he has. So that is me spent for the turn here. What my opponent has done is he's added a Marksman here, and he's taken double shot on the Marksman. That's the major differences. So now with the addition of the Fortress, he does have a double shot Marksman here, which is going to be pretty good against our Typhoons. But this Fortress will also be pretty good now that I've added him to this situation. I think the Typhoon definitely goes down here, but with the Fortress still on the board, also with the increase in HP on the Fortress, we can take down these Marksmen. And we have an Arclight here and a Missile, so we can clear this chaff. Now that I've added a late Arclight, we're going to get this tower up here. Arclight will be doing more damage to these units as a result of that. Actually, the timing on the tower there kind of helps us because it slows my Fortress so that now he walks towards the Marksman. We take out the Marksman, which are like our last threat on this round. And now we'll just plink down these remaining Sledgehammers. So Kind of a lucky round for us, but also good positioning on the fortress, which did get a level. And when I have Assault Fortress, and I'm facing down things like Double Shot Marksman, I'm going to need levels on these guys to keep them alive. So a lot of the time when I play Fortress, I don't level them, I just get like a ton of them, and then I just get Rocket Punch. But in this situation, with these high DPS units, taking levels on my Fortress will be something that I need to do. And I'm still deciding. We have some options here. He's taken the level 4 Phoenix, and I'm kind of looking at the Rhino or the Wasps, because I like the Wasps for defense on my flanks. And having played Crash, I know he loves to flank. I do end up taking the Wasps, I'm pretty sure, and use them as defense. What he's done this turn, he's basically added another sniper. So in the game that I played against him like 5 or 6 days ago, I had a high-level Phoenix, and I'm not sure if that's why he goes with it, but it's a good unit regardless. He wants to kill my Typhoons and my Fortress, so he's just had a couple snipers here. He's also missiling my Chaff. So I put the Wasps back here to defend against flanking, and I'm also going to flank him with one of them, try and take this tower here. Like I said, I'm going to take level 2 on my Fortress there. He is defending with a missile, so he's going to kill my Crawlers, but that's why I put the Crawlers and the Wasps in case he puts the missile. That way, Crawlers eat the missile, and then the Wasp can get to the tower. I go get Field Recovery, and I sell one of the level 2 Sabertooths to put a Fortress. Also go with Mass Recruitment, and I put a Typhoon here, just to add some chaff clear. Then I go with Defense Enhancement and Speed. So with his missile landing like it did there, it took out our chaff, which allows all his snipers to immediately start shooting our Typhoon and now immediately start shooting our Fortress. So I need to fix that. This is not going to go well here on the left now. Just a single missile, basically, was the thing that decided that outcome there. We do have the Wasps getting in, and now that we've added Fortress and Typhoon to this side, they're getting decent purchase because they're taking out all of his sledgehammers and a decent amount of, damage that we would otherwise take since our left strong side went down so quickly. But this is around 4 Crash here. It's not too bad. All of that was made possible by like a missile and honestly just like a couple missiles. So as long as we get some shields or something, we should be sitting pretty. Another intensive training is offered, but I already have one. And so I skip it because it's too expensive. I need more fortresses. I don't need to level my units. I just need more fortresses, really. That's why I skipped there. He's adding Typhoons back here because I put Wasps. On the next one, I'm going to need to put something here. Opponent has decided to go with the Typhoon Barrier. Puts a Typhoon back here to play against the Wasp play that I added last turn. And like I said, I sell my Sabertooth. I go with 2 more fortresses because I need to be clearing this area of the map sooner than I have been, because all of this keeps wrapping onto my units over here. And I need a way of protecting literally just this single pack of Crawlers. What's also nice about this position is I have the Fangs here behind. So as long as this survives, these Fangs will walk forward, help clear chaff, and just be like extra damage against the Phoenixes and the Marksmen. So these Fangs are actually pretty decent. And so I'm really thinking here, what is going to get me in there, right? Rocket Punch. I always go with Rocket Punch on the Fortress when I'm in an aggro position like this. And then now that I have Typhoons, I don't need to get the barriers on the Fortresses. I just get the barriers on the Typhoons. So it ends up being cheaper, right? Because if I'm going to get like Rocket Punch and Barrier, that's very expensive. But this way I can just spend 2 small amounts and still get the permanent barrier of the Typhoon. So that's nice because it protects against missiles. That's really why I like the Typhoon in the front in this position here. So I decide to go with the speed. I am missiling because I'm not aware yet that he has shields on Typhoons. And then I get myself a mobile beacon, and I'm just going to get up in there like that as we clear out these Fire Badgers. All right, so Rocket Punch is destroying the sledgehammers a lot quicker, as well as taking out any straggler chaff, which is like a really good use of the Rocket Punch. I feel like A lot of people use it to like take out major units, but honestly, just it being extra chaff clear is it's kind of great. At least, I mean, that's what I think. So now we have extra fortresses, so we can actually take out all his typhoons. These are really high-level phoenixes, so we're still going to lose these two guys, but luckily we have these extra typhoons to take out these phoenixes at the end, which they will do. It's a close round, but it's definitely starting to look good. It felt like my fortresses on this turn in the center were getting shot a lot quicker than I wanted them to. And so I feel like all I need to do really is just add more typhoon shields to them in the beginning. I'll have extra chaff clear that way. Rocket punches going on, higher priority targets. Oh, heavy armor is an easy pick because I got a level 3 assault fortress here with an insane amount of health, like a crazy amount of health. Like I said, now that he's added Typhoon here, we will need to add something, and I'm just going to stick Sabretooth here. Opponent has not decided on what he'd like yet, but I think he takes the heavy armor here. We've sold the Wasps that we're flanking since he has an answer to it with Typhoon. And he puts the heavy armor on his Typhoon here. And on this turn, I feel like what my opponent needs to do is he doesn't need more chaff. He needs more killing units. He needs to take out like these guys. Honestly, he needs to take out this quicker or this quicker because we saw that this survived at the end and also this did pretty well compared to the round before it. I feel like he needs to add like Melting Point is good, and I kind of thought he was going to take Melting Point, but he ends up like chaffing up this turn, which is not great. Since, we beat him like in the center last time, he needs to add things to the center. But look, he grabs crawlers for this spot here. We missile here, a couple missiles. I put down 2 missiles and the Sabretooth just to try and take that out quicker. So I want to knock the shield off, and then I want the Sabretooth to just kill the Typhoon. That's why I put the 2 missiles. I put Typhoon here as well. Like I said, I want to kind of get more chaff clear in the center and also just add extra barriers like around my fortresses. We do take level 3 on this guy, who's now up to 283,000 health on this assault fortress. So he's a total beast. Like, this stuff is going to basically not be able to kill it. There's not enough here. I think he just needs like a melting point. We've decided to intensive training our Typhoon here to level 4. And so that's like all of our turn. We do have temp speed and temp range. And I'm going to make that beacon play that I did last time. He just grabs a couple extra pecks of fangs. So what he really needs, I think, is melting points. But he just chaffed up this turn. And it was a mistake. Because I pushed for tempo here. If all my fortresses and Typhoons live, we have the game. Which, it's kind of looking like that is going to happen. And I love this mobile beacon. Like, whenever I have Assault Fortress or just any fortress on the line, I always beacon 2 of them forward like this. It keeps them moving and not getting distracted and stuck shooting things. They keep walking and shooting like chads. Just total chads. This guy with 300k health, these Phoenixes just can't do it. Typhoons take it out right here at the end. And that is going to be enough. So, every time I play Crash, I'm going to go heavy on the fortress. Every time. So let's take a peek at the battlefield here. So this was the board that put me in the top 100 in the world. Classic fortress game. Just get some Typhoon barriers right next to them, and we're having a good time. We got the Wasps for the flank defense. We went with the Sabretooth here in the back to take out the Typhoon flank from last round, which worked pretty well. Typhoon did take it out. A couple missiles knocked the shield off this guy. And he decided to go on the last round here with, he went Crawler here, and he went Fangs here. So on the round before this, we beat him in the center with these fortresses that we walked up the center. So what I would have done if I was him is I would have gotten like maybe some melting points right here with Electromag Barrage. That probably would have been kind of a good idea to knock the rocket punches off these guys. And then on the left, he probably needed another melting point. And if he had Electromag Barrage again, it would be able to take the shield down off these Typhoons and my fortress as well. So I feel like that probably would have been a better play for him. Just grabbing more chaff is definitely like a mistake because we already beat him last round, and this chaff is not even going to make a difference, especially since I add the extra Typhoons. They just blow right through these fangs. And we also pushed for loan and range and speed to basically try and close the game out, and it worked. So I didn't think my opponent played a bad game. I think that the marksmen with the double shot were pretty good for a while, for a second there. They were good at taking out our Typhoons and our low-level fortress. But once I started to get level on this dude and we finally got this heavy armor, these marksmen are just never basically going to be able to kill this guy. You need like a melting point at this point to take this guy down. And with heavy armor showing, I think he should have suspected that that's basically exactly what I was going to do. And there was a level on this guy. I could have even made him level 4, but I made the Typhoons level 4 because I had the intensive training. He just relied heavily on these Phoenixes. These Phoenixes did so much damage. You know, once Fortress starts to get a lot of levels, and their Assault Fortress, which is multiplicative with the levels, you need Melters to take them down, for sure. Just a nice, solid, simple Fortress game here. Give him the Rocket Punch. Get the shields on the Typhoons to block any missiles that might take out our front-facing chaff. Mobile beacon the fortresses up the center so that they're shooting left and right as they go. Take out the towers, and then Typhoons will take out the bird at the end. So that is going to do it for today's video. As always, thanks very much to everybody who sticks around to the end of these. And now that we're in the top 100, I'm going to need a new goal. So let's go for top 50, I guess. That's going to be really hard, but let's go for top 50. That'll be my next goal here. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing, and leave a comment and let me know how Season 2 has been going for you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.